Hi everyone, myself Dr. P. Kanaraj, Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Sri Sanmova College of Engineering and Technology. Now we are going to discuss a concept in C programming called arrays. So what is arrays? An array in C is a collection of elements of the same data type stored in a contiguous memory locations. Suppose if you want to store multiple elements of same data type, simply we can use array. Within a single variable we can store multiple elements of same type. So those elements are going to be stored in a contiguous memory location. So array provides a lot of advantages. One is code efficiency. With the help of array, so we can reduce number of lines of code, or we can easily manage the data with the help of simple code if you are using arrays. Next, easy to traverse. So normally array contains collection of elements. If you want to access those elements one by one, so with the help of for loop, simply we can access it. Next, simple sorting. If we want to sort the elements which are stored in the array, we can easily sort, so both ascending and descending. The next, random access. So there are a good group of elements are available. So I want to access a particular element, simply I can access it with the help of index, that is position. Next, arrays declaration. The syntax for declaring an array: data type, so followed by variable name, then size. So while creating an array we should give size. We must give size. So here there is an important point. Size must be a positive integer. We can't give negative. The size must be a positive integer. Example, int ARR of 10. An array is created, so with size 10. So that means totally 10 elements we can store within this array ARR of all are of integer type. So memory is going to be allotted. So for this 10 elements, so the memory is allotted in a contiguous memory location. So there are 10 elements totally we are telling. So these elements can be accessed with the help of index. So index always start from 0, then followed by 1, then 2, etc. up to 9. So totally 10 elements, So this is a pictorial representation to denote this one. So ARR of 0 is going to be the first element. Next, ARR of 1 is going to be second element. ARR of 2 is your third element. Next, fourth element, fifth element, sixth element, seventh element, eighth element, ninth element, 10th element. Totally 10 elements. So these elements can be accessed with the help of index. Next, initialization of the array in C. After declaring an array, it should be initialized. Syntax to initialize an array: data type, array name, size equal to list of values. So two way we can do it. Declaration itself we can initialize, or first we can declare, then following lines we can initialize. For example, int a of 3 is equal to 12 to 3. We are creating an array with 3 elements. So we are creating an array with 3 elements. So that is a of 0, a of 1, a of 2. Totally 3 elements here. So the a of 0 position 12 is going to be stored. A of 1 position 2 is going to be stored. A of 2 position 3 is going to be stored. So otherwise first I want to declare, then I want to initialize. So first, for example, int a of 3 declared, then I want to initialize. Here we need to initialize elements individually. For a of 0 I am storing 12, a of 1 I am storing 2, a of 2 I am storing 3. So which one convenient for you, you can use it. Both are correct. Next, how do we access array elements? Elements are stored in memory in a contiguous location. Then how can we access it? With the help of index. Name of the array. So with index we can access the elements which are present in the array. Here, accessing out of bounds index leads to an undefined behavior. So the index would be, so the between 0 to size minus 1, maximum, that means size of the array minus 1. So what value we can give for index between 0 to size minus 1. So beyond that, if you are giving any value, so it is an undefined behavior. So it will not generate any error. It is an undefined behavior. You are getting it. A small example here. We are creating an array with 3 elements 2, 3, 4. So one more point here. So whenever creating an array, we are going to initialize. Creating array itself, we are initializing. The size is not required. That is an optional. Size is optional. If you want to, you can give. If you are not giving, doesn't matter. So based upon the number of elements we are assigning or trying to store, the size is going to be calculated by the compiler. So declaration itself we are going to initialize. The size is going to be optional. If you want, you can give. Otherwise, compiler will so calculate it. Next, so to access array elements, if I want to access array elements, if I want to store values into the array, so if you want to retrieve, if you want to perform some operations, so normally with the help of for loop, simply we can so access array elements. For example, for int I is equal to 0, so before that how it is going to be stored in memory, so we can simply we can create a structure for easy understanding. So within a of 0, so ARR of 0, so the first element, then ARR of 1, ARR of 2. So within ARR of 1, 2 is going to be stored, ARR of 0, 2 is going to be stored, ARR of 1, 3 is going to be stored, ARR of 2, 4 is going to be stored. So now, so the loop is going to run. We are going to start with 0. I value, we are going to start with 0. The next, I less than 3. So condition is true. 0 less than 3 condition is true. Coming inside the loop, we are trying to print an integer value. So percentage D, ARR of 5. I value is 0. First ARR of 0. So within ARR of 0, element 2 is that which is going to be printed in the output 2. You can see in the printf statement, so within format specifier part, after percentage D there is a space is that's why we are getting a space. The next I plus plus, I value becomes 2, not 2, previously it is 0, now I value becomes 1. Next, 1 less than 3 condition is true. Condition is true. Coming inside the loop, we are trying to print one more value, one more integer value. Now I value becomes 1. Within ARR of 1, 3 is printed in the output. Then there is a space is given. The next I plus plus, I value increased by 1 from 1 to 2. It is increased. 2 less than 3 condition is true. Coming inside the loop, I value is 2. ARR of 2 contains 4, which is printed in the output. Then there is a space after that will be given. The next I plus plus, I value becomes 3. 3 less than 3 condition is false. We are exit from the loop. Just we have created an array. Then we try to print all the array elements as output with the help of a simple for loop. The next, previously whatever we discussed, we have assigned value directly. So now if I want to get it from user, I want to get array elements from user. So this is a simple example. So denote that concept. For example, int n, assume. So there are 3 inputs. So it is not showing 3. Those inputs are 12 to 4, assume. So these are the input I want to give. I want to give these inputs. So now, so int n, there is a variable n is created. So within that, we are going to get an integer from user and store it in the variable n. So we are getting 3, which is stored in n. Next, int ARR of n. Next, an array is created with size n. Now n value is 3. So an array is created with size 3. So 0, 1, 2. What is the name of the array? ARR. The next we are using a for loop to get array elements from user. So first I value is 0. We are getting an input from user, that is next value 12. 12 we are getting from user and we are stored it within the ARR of 0. The next I value is increased by 1. So I value becomes 1. So 1 less than 3 condition true. We are getting next value 2 from user and we are stored it in error of 1. Next I value going to be increased by 1. 2 less than 3 condition is true. Next we are getting an input from user which is 4, which is stored in error of 2. The next I value increased by 1. 3 now. 3 less than 3 condition false, we exit from the loop. The next one more for loop we are using it, just we are trying to print whatever elements we received from user, just we are going to print in the output. So for int I is 0, I less than and I plus plus. Loop is going to run for 3 times. First time I value is 0. So error of 0 value is going to be printed in the output. So what is going to be the output? First 12 is printed in the output. The next I plus plus, I value becomes 1. Next error of 1. So position value 2 is going to be printed in the output. Next I value becomes 2, increased by 1 2. The error of 2 contains 4, which is printed in the output. The next I value becomes 3, 3 less than 3 condition false, that exit from the loop. Simply we can use for loop so to manage array elements, both storing, accessing. So all the purpose simply we can use looping. So this is an example. Just we are getting input from user, then it is stored in array. First we are getting size, an array is created, followed by we are getting array element from user which is stored in the array. Then you are using one more for loop to print the stored elements. Next types of array. Array is generally categorized into two types. So one is one dimensional array. So another one is two dimensional array. So first we are going to discuss one dimensional array. So array with only one subscript. Till now we have discussed array concept. We have created an array. We stored data in that, as well as we have accessed. So whatever we have discussed till last slide, so it comes under one dimensional array. Array with only one subscript, call it as a one dimensional array. The next, multi-dimensional array. Array with more than one subscript, so call it as a multi-dimensional array. So for example, data type, so array name, size 1, size 2, etc., size n. So there are different versions of multi-dimensional array can be created, that is 2D array, 3D array, etc., and dimensional array. So example, int a of 2 3, array with 2 subscript called as an 2D array. Array with 3 subscript, that is called as an 3D array. Array with 4 subscript called as an 4-dimensional array. Like that we can so give different types of multi-dimensional array. Next we are going to discuss a little bit about two-dimensional array. So a two-dimensional array is the basic type of multi-dimensional array. In a two-dimensional array, elements are arranged in rows and columns. Two-dimensional arrays are deployed as follows. Data type array name. So there are two dimensions we are going to give. One is row size, another one is column size. So two-dimensional array mostly can be used so with matrix. If I want to implement some matrix concept, so if you want to store matrix data, if you want to perform some operations on matrix, simply we can use two-dimensional array. So an example for two-dimensional array, for example, int a of 3, 4. This is a declaration. Suppose I want to initialize. So how the memory is going to be created? There are 3 rows. So row 0, row 1, row 2. Totally 3 rows. Start index always start with 0. 0, 1, 2. The columns 0, 1, 2, 3. These are the rows 0, 1, 2. Column 0, 1, 2, 3. So totally how many elements? So number of rows into number of columns. 3 into 4. Totally it's going to be 12 elements. For each row 4 elements. There are 3 rows. Each row contains 4 elements. So the first row is going to be stored in memory, then followed by second row elements, followed by third row elements. So first element can be accessed 0 0. Next 0 1, 0 2, 0 3. Next 1 0. Next 1 1. Next element 1 2. Next element 1 3. 2 0, 2 1, 2 2. This element is 2 3. So this is the way simply we can access array elements. How these elements are going to be stored? This is the first row. declaration itself we are trying to initialize. We can also get input from user. So this is wrong, this would not comes. So the 3 rows, first row value 0 0 0 1, the next 6 1 1 5, next 4 1 2 1. So this is the way it is going to be stored in memory. So next, a small example we are going to discuss now. So this is a coding question based on a 2D array. You are asked with developing a program model to handle square matrices representing sensor grids. The program should promote the user to input the size of the square matrix. So first size of the matrix is going to be given, and then enter each element of the matrix. Matrix elements are going to be given. So followed by it 3 into 3, that means totally 9 elements. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, there are 9 elements are given. So the main objective is to calculate the sum of the primary diagonal elements. So which are the elements where the row and column indices are same. How actually we are giving like this. Actually how we can denote in matrix. First row 53 5 4, the next row 6 22 3 rows, each row contains 3 elements. Next 4 5, that is 55 not 5 55 2. This is the matrix. You are familiar with this. So within that what you have to identify, so row size, column size same. So this is 0 0 0 1 0 2, this is 1 0 1 1 1 2, next this is 2 0 2 1 2 2. So within this 0 0 1 1, both row size and column size values should be added. So these three values need to be added. 53 plus 22, 53 plus 22 plus 2. So totally, so what are going to get? 53 plus 22 plus 2, totally 77. This is wrong. Actually the 77 should be the output. 77 should be the output. How we can write a program for this one. Next we are going to check. First we need to get row size and column size. First we have to get row size and column size. Then we can create a 2D array. Then we are going to use a 2 for loops. If I want to get one dimensional array, or if you want to access one dimensional array, one for loop is enough. If it is a 2 dimensional array, we should use 2 for loop. 3D means it required to use 3 dimensional. This is a minimum of accessing arrays. Here so within this array the elements are going to be stored. Then next we are using a for loop. So once again we are accessing array elements. So with diagonal part only if I and j values are, so this is a 2 for loop. First we are using these 2 for loop to store array elements. Whatever given we are going to use to store elements. The next, so one more time we are going to use 2 for loops to access array elements to make the diagonal sum. So whenever I value and j value are 0, so which is denoting the diagonal value, 0 0 1 1 2 2, so 3 3, it's like this. So to add the diagonal values we are checking both I, this is I, this is j. So one value I, one value j is going to be denoted. So both values are same. We are adding that value into some variable s. So after completing this we are getting the diagonal sum. So finally the diagonal sum is going to be printed. So next, so array having lot of advantages, but it's also having some limitation. So one is fixed size. Array size cannot be changed after it is created. So once an array is created, that's it. Its size cannot be modified. So that's why array size is fixed. Next, insertion and deletion. Inserting an element or deleting an element in an existing array takes lot of shifting. So it can be slow because it may require shifting number of elements. These are the main two limitations of arrays. Next, sorry, where array can be used. So saving contacts on a mobile phone, leaderboard in games, handling student grades, image pixels. So this is the main important thing is to store image. We can store image related information. We can use arrays. So monthly sales data, etc. But many for many applications, many problem solving, we are going to use array concepts. So that's all about the basic concept of arrays and the types of arrays. So with its limitation, advantages we have discussed. Thank you for watching.